I ducked into the cafe downstairs for a latte and literally ran into my boss, who was mid-blind date. Lucas had unbuttoned one cuff. From the little I knew of him, that meant he was already bored. I spun around with the paper cup and collided full-on. Coffee splashed across the front of his charcoal suit. He glanced at the spreading stain, then gave the woman across the table an apologetic smile. "Ms. Wu, I'm afraid today isn't convenient. Next time?" He stepped over to me. "Still standing there? Planning to skip out on damages? Before we go on, subscribe to the channel and drop a comment telling us where you're listening." He was wearing the same black suit from yesterday's red eye, obviously dragged here straight from the jetway. Across from him sat a woman in pastel Chanel. At first glance they actually looked made for each other. All I'd wanted was to grab a latte for Zachary. Now I was trapped in a disaster movie. I slipped to the counter to hurry the barista, hoping Lucas wouldn't notice me so I could grab the drink and bolt. But when I turned, the man who should have been by the window was suddenly behind me. Solid impact. Half the cup emptied onto him. I'm dead. His suits are bespoke. This is 6 months' salary." I looked up, bracing for thunder. Instead, his brows held zero anger. I snatched napkins from the counter. "Lucas, I'm so sorry." He took them, dabbed twice, then walked back to the window. "Ms. Wu, I'm afraid today isn't convenient. Next time?" I'd just ruined my CEO's suit, and his date. I'm the worst. I stared at the half-empty cup in my hand. He stopped in front of me. "Still standing there? Planning to skip out on damages?" Inside the executive elevator, Lucas spoke first. "You're Olivia, right? A low-level grunt like me, worthy of the boss's memory?" He smiled. "Tsinghua and Wharton, 2 years below me, correct?" I shrank into the corner and nodded. "Yes, the suit's nothing. Zane will drop it at the cleaners. Quinn, you just rescued me." I exhaled in a whoosh. I gave a small smile. "I didn't see a thing. Don't worry, back at Hawthorne I won't breathe a word." He tilted his lips. "Right. And if you do? You know how I hate office gossip." Then he grinned. "Perfect timing, my project's short-laying assistant. Zane will transfer you to my floor." "Huh?" The elevator pinged. Zane stood outside, surprised to see me trailing Lucas. Lucas peeled off the jacket and handed it to him. Zane fell in step with me. "How'd you end up on the boss's private lift?" I glanced back. I'd followed Lucas from the cafe, brain screaming about dry cleaning costs. I hadn't even noticed which elevator we'd taken. "Zane, move Olivia to the Maple Harbor deal. She'll take your desk." Zane didn't blink. "Yes, sir." Then he shot me a sympathetic look. Back on the floor, Zachary was already irritable. "A coffee run takes forever? Where is it?" I stared at the half cup in my hand. He erupted. "Olivia, what can you actually do? Why did Hawthorne even hire you? If he weren't a 40-something guy I'd swear he had chronic PMS, tantrums daily, sometimes for no reason. You still want a project or not? At Hawthorne, bonuses ride on billable projects. Without them you're stuck at $3,500 a month. In Zachary's team you only get projects if you stroke his ego. 3 months in, Leah already has 3, because I'm quiet, I have 0. Leah slid a file over. "Zachary, tonight's dinner with Mr. Lewis, need the budget approved." Zachary's fingers brushed hers as he took it. "See? Learn from Leah." Leah smirked. "Someone that wouldn't would just bore the VPs. Better she stick to janitorial work. Bookworms belong behind laptops, not clients." Imagine her reciting multiplication tables at the table, she added, cackling. I stood helpless. Everyone else was used to the routine. "Cameron, Lucas is waiting," Zane called from the aisle. I parked the half cup on Zachary's desk. "Sorry, I have to go." I pushed through Lucas's door. He'd already changed. His eyes stayed on his laptop until he heard me. "Olivia, did you swallow your tongue? They mock you and you just take it?" I looked down. They're not wrong. People like me seem useless outside a library. Don't waste energy on losers. Take this RFP, draft the analysis, on my desk tomorrow. He tapped a folder. I dropped my funk, scooped it up. Okay. Zane pointed to a desk inside the CEO's office, right by the door. I sit here? Sharing a glass box with Lucas felt terrifying. No wonder Zane had pitted me. The assignment wasn't hard, just massive. At 5 I watched coworkers pack up, but Lucas stayed put. At 6 he shut his laptop. He paused at my desk. How much left? A third. He lowered his gaze. Leave it. Finish tomorrow. But the client, gone on a trip, delayed 24 hours. Oh. I shut my laptop and tidied up. Lucas waited. I stood, he moved. Zane was now stationed just outside the door. Lucas passed, Zane followed, tipping me a silent signal to come along. Near the bullpen we met Zachary and Leah in going home glam, blocking my path. Zachary slowed until Lucas was well ahead. Leah looked back. Wow, Olivia, big day, landing the throne room. Teach me your tricks, Ice Queen. I stayed silent, arguing felt pointless. Zachary reached the lifts and punched the button. Leah and I arrived behind him. Leah rolled her eyes. So dull. You'll never touch a deal. She wrinkled her nose. Take the next car. You're bad luck. I need good vibes tonight. I'd already planned on a different elevator. Rush hour, every cab was full. Then the executive lift chimed. Zachary and Leah snapped into bowing smiles. Lucas's voice was low, icy. Olivia, get in. He ignored Zachary. Zane let the doors close. Lucas was irritated. You shadow Zane. Where he is, you are, understood? Zane leaned in and whispered, where the boss is, I am. I dipped my head. Understood. I followed them all the way to the basement garage. The chauffeur had parked right outside the elevator lobby. After settling Lucas into the back seat, I gently shut the door for him. He stared at me in puzzlement, then lowered the window. I shifted awkwardly. I've still got to catch the subway. Lucas exhaled. Get in. I'll take you home. Leah's earlier insinuations flashed through my mind. If sticking me in Lang office next to his was just to keep me from gossiping about the blind date, letting me ride in his private car felt like overkill. I blinked. Do you give Zane a lift too? From the front seat Zane chimed in cheerfully, my place is right next to Lucas's. He arranged it for convenience. Fine. I walked around and climbed in. Jamie? New Haven Shores. Zane hissed, that far? We'd barely rolled out of the garage when I nodded. Just drop me at the nearest subway stop and I'll transfer. Zane glanced back, concerned. Why aren't you in the company lofts? Zachary says there aren't any spare rooms. Zane frowned. That can't be right. He applied for 3 units, 3 people each, and your team only has 8 members. I counted on my fingers. 1 unit for the women, 1 for the men, Casey. Besides Zachary you've got 5 women and 2 men. Leah's unit should have Lang empty bed. Zane spoke so kindly I spilled everything. Leah's our top performer and she networks the most. Zachary says she entertains clients at odd hours and a roommate would disturb her. Lucas sat silently on my left, expression unreadable. I grew uneasy. Sorry, I'm rambling. Zane came to my rescue. New Haven Shores is 2 hours by subway, easy. Rent's cheaper out there. You and I share rank, title, and pay, Lucas said flatly. Tomorrow HR will issue a transfer order, go home and pack. I'd expected a probationary period, but Lucas's single sentence promoted me on the spot. Zane pulled out his laptop and began typing. The chauffeur prepared to make a U-turn. 20 minutes later I understood what next door meant. The car glided into a block of brick townhouses, prime Riverdale real estate, and Lucas owned one of them. As we stepped out he adjusted his cuffs. Come inside first. I'll have the house manager prep a place for you. That feels excessive. Zane beckoned me to follow. These 10 houses are all his. Staff quarters, mine's on the left, the chauffeur's cluster at the far end. Set her up in the one on the right, Lucas said, pointing casually. My jaw dropped. He didn't own one townhouse, he owned the entire row. I'll be rattling around in there all alone, I protested. Zane smiled. Bring friends or family. As long as they don't throw wild parties, Lucas won't mind. Upstairs, Zane deposited Lucas's briefcase, then called down, my girlfriend's cooking, join us? She's here too? He looked delighted. She drops by on her days off. Lucky you. He turned to me. What about you? Someone waiting at home? No, I'm single. I gave Lang awkward laugh. Lucas caught my hoodie string and tugged. Planning to play third wheel? I flushed. Good point, Quinn Zane. I'll pass. Lucas waved it off. Don't worry, she won't starve. Once Zane left, Lucas asked, "Can you cook?" "No time, I usually DoorDash." I checked my iPhone. The map showed his enclave was outside every delivery zone. He sighed and pointed to the sofa. "Wait here." 10 minutes later he reappeared, hair soft and boyish, wearing relaxed loungewear. He disappeared into the open kitchen. From the couch I watched him lay out 2 filets mignon, vegetables, fruit. Unsure how long he'd be, I opened my laptop and finished a dashboard. Soon he called me to the table and slid a perfectly sliced steak in front of me. "I only know European basics," he said, eyes smiling. "The house managers are busy prepping your place, bear with me." "This is amazing, Morgan." We ate in silence. Lucas's manners were effortless, no wonder half the firm daydreamed about becoming Mrs. Hawthorne. Everyone whispered, "Snag Lucas, ascend to the C-suite penthouse, escape the 9 to 5 grind." I didn't get it. Why date the boss? At work I prayed our paths never crossed. And his type. I pictured the woman from the coffee shop this morning, stately, polished, pedigreed. Office drones like me didn't register on that radar. Maybe Leah was the exception. I'd once seen her hand him a latte by the copier. Lucas snapped his fingers. "Where'd you go?" I usually streamed a show while eating. Tonight, with nothing to watch, I'd zoned out staring at his face. "Sorry, both plates were empty." He stilled my hand. "Leave it. The house manager will clear. Your head and hands have better uses." His gaze locked on mine. "Olivia, you're brilliant, don't doubt it." The intensity left me speechless. The front door opened, 2 house managers returned. "Young master, the suite is ready," I blurted, "but my lease has 15 days left and a $2,000 deposit. If I don't give 30 days notice." Lucas looked stricken. "Legal will handle it. Stay focused on your work, Morgan." "You don't have to call me Lucas after hours, Lucas is fine." He selected 2 house managers to walk me next door, worried I'd spook alone. They would spend the night in the guest room. Upstairs, the master bedroom had been stocked, loungewear, athleisure, suits, every toiletry and skincare product lined the vanity. The house manager beamed. "Dylan, Zane phoned the boutique. If you need anything else, let us know." "I'm set, thank you." A full set of La Prairie stared back at me. Zane was too generous. It had to be Lucas making sure I kept quiet about the blind date fiasco. Still, this felt more like a bribe than hush money. The next morning my alarm went off at 7. I blinked at the unfamiliar ceiling before remembering I'd moved into a new life overnight. If I actually lived here, sleeping in until 9 would still leave me plenty of time. I nudged my alarm to 9 and drifted off again, deliciously reassured. When the chime finally rang, I felt as if I'd banked a full 8 hours. Inside the walk-in I chose a mint green suit. The fabric felt leagues better than my old $300 set. I remembered Lucas saying I'd get the same perks as Zane. He must be living the dream. Downstairs, the house manager had already set a breakfast tray on the dining table. "Miss Sterling, the young master asked me to make Lang extra portion," she said. Staring at the omelette sandwich and glass of oat milk, I finally understood why Zane's gentle smile always looked so genuine. I finished eating and stepped outside. Lucas's car idled at the curb. Zane climbed out and waved. "Morning, Cameron." "Morning, Zane," I called back, matching his grin. Sliding into the rear seat, I saw Lucas. "Good morning, Lucas." He tipped his head in silent greeting. The chauffeur steered us straight to the private elevator bank in the underground garage, and Zane pressed the executive call button with practiced ease. Just like yesterday, I followed Lucas to his office, pretending not to notice Zachary and Leah's homicidal glares. I'd stayed up late polishing data, so once I reached my desk it took only half-lang hour to finalize the remaining sections. "Lucas, the digital copy you asked for is in your inbox. I'll print the hard copy now." He was in the middle of something and didn't look up. Because my laptop in Lucas's office wasn't wired to any printer yet, I jogged back to my old cubicle, assuming everyone would be downstairs in the cafe slacking off as usual. They weren't, they were sitting dutifully at their stations. Leah spotted me first. That label, 5 figures minimum. Dumb luck loves fools." Zachary added his own pious commentary. "Half the office saw you climb into Lucas's car yesterday. This is conduct unbecoming of the team." My voice came out thin. "Zane and I have the same remit now. Please quit the gossip." Leah planted a fist on her hip. "You? Bookworm? What the hell could Lucas want from you?" Zane graduated MIT with straight A's. Is everybody finished? Zane cut in from behind, the usual warmth gone from his tone. Submit the expense reports and proof of business statements. You've requested entertainment funding 3 times this month with 0 contracts to show for it. Corporate money isn't a food voucher. Zachary beamed obsequiously. Don't worry, Mr. Lewis's signature is coming within 5 days. Keep chatting about non-work topics on company time and you'll be picking up your severance letters from HR, Zane warned. Understood, sir, Zachary mumbled, pushing Leo away. Zane lifted half my printout stack. Printers connected now, next time print inside the suite. Quinn, Zane. When I returned with the fresh pages, Lucas was hanging up a call. He grabbed his suit jacket. Mr. Reynolds flew back early, our Harbor Point meeting moved up. He paused beside me. Olivia, your deck is excellent. I gave the same dataset to the other team 3 days ago. They finally turned in a safe, mediocre skeleton this morning. Your work is miles ahead. Zane patted my shoulder. Go relax in the suite. The meeting is just Lucas and me. With nothing else pending, boredom crept in. My best friend Summer's WhatsApp post appeared on my feed. Moving apartments should count as laying Olympic sport. A mountain of suitcases crowded the photo, 9, maybe 10, and leaning towers of boxes. I called her at once. Move in with me? Her delicate protest floated down the line. Your shoebox has room for 1 pair of Jimmy Choos and that's it. Plus I start laying hour earlier than you. Nope. I've switched places, I said. 2 bed, 2 bath, she asked. I hadn't finished the grand tour myself, but I told her there was definitely space. Text me the pin. I'll swing by after work and measure suitcase real estate. If I cramp your style, you'll resent me. Summer's management role requires laying entire room for bags, dresses, shoes, and cosmetics, so caution made sense. After clockout I sent the location. She texted back a shocked emoji, Mansion District? That rent is, explain. See it first, I replied. She drove through the gate half-laying hour later, the guard waved her in. Lotto jackpot? Sugar daddy? Nope, I know you're too pure, she cried while changing into guest slippers. Company housing, I said. Makes the commute easier. She squeaked 3 levels above me and all I got was a leased SUV. I'm updating my resume tonight. We toured the rooms, Summer approved each one with Lang appreciative whistle. She draped Lang arm around me. Someone in Mahogany Row is smitten with our innocent bunny. Right, I'm Napoleon Bonaparte. More convincing than the CEO crush theory, except you're living in Napoleon's palace, she retorted, collapsing against me for a hug. The doorbell chimed, the house manager stood outside holding a linen napkin. Miss Sterling, the young master prepared extra servings. He invites you to dinner. I have company, we can just. She smiled knowingly. Your guest is welcome too. Perfect, I'll investigate, Summer said, locking her arm with mine. We followed the house manager into Lucas's dining wing. A new chef must have auditioned, platters lined the buffet, at least 30 different dishes. Overcatered a bit, Lucas apologized, adjusting his glasses. I'm auditioning cooks and misjudged quantities. Please help critique. Lucas, Zane said friends or relatives are allowed to stay, Summer's moving in, I said. He gave her a brief nod. Your decision. While he washed his hands Summer whispered, change of verdict, this man absolutely likes you. We barely met before last week. Trust my radar, she said. He invited us because he saw my car in the drive, boxy SUV, model that screams testosterone. For all he knew your visitor was male. When he saw me, relief flickered across his face for a nanosecond. 1 Mississippi of eye contact avoidance when he claimed he cooked by accident. I'm right, Lucas, I've heard Olivia mention how well you've taken care of her, thank you, Summer said. Sorry, the movers just rang, they're already downstairs. He for the hospitality, but I'll skip dinner and go pack. She lifted the waiting champagne and emptied the glass in one easy swallow. Lucas gave a slight nod toward the house manager, who guided her out. Lucas, this is way too much food, aren't we wasting it? His face stayed neutral. The project closed. Mr. Reynolds loved your plan, call this the celebration dinner. I finally landed a project? My grin came from somewhere real. Then let's ask Zane to join us. He's tied up. No time. Lucas never talks while he eats, so we chewed in polite silence while my mind replayed what Summer had whispered before she left. My gaze drifted from his hands up to his chest, his throat, his face. Too spicy? Lucas asked, concerned. I looked up. Your face is scarlet. Ahem, cough, cough. He slid a glass of warm water my way. I'm fine, just went down the wrong pipe. Quinn, I'm done, I'll go help Summer unpack. I pretty much fled the room. Next morning, the breakfast tray was waiting, the chauffeur idling at the curb. There's a partner meeting tomorrow. You're coming with me, the project is yours. Lucas, I've never run a project solo. Your last deck was crisp, easy to grasp, and executed fast, cleaner than any jargon-heavy paper we usually float. I hesitated, so Lucas dropped the kicker. Cameron, the bonus on this one is 6 figures. I counted fingers on autopilot and nodded hard. Lucas, I'm in. At 11 sharp Lucas tapped my desk. I followed him to the private dining room of a 5-star hotel. A young, stunning woman was already there. I'd seen her file. Avery, Lucas's classmate from middle school through high school, shipped off for college overseas, back last year to launch a fashion tech label. Avery beamed as we walked in. Lucas, are you wooing me with food or with business? Everything on this table is exactly what I love. Lucas took the seat beside her. Meals and deals aren't mutually exclusive. This is my assistant, Olivia. I smiled and nodded. Where's little Zane? He's buried in another deal. Pity, I've missed him. He's got a girlfriend, so behave. Avery nudged his arm. Joke, joke. You're still no fun. That was when I realized Lucas doesn't hate dinner conversation, he just hadn't wanted one with me. When the plates were almost clear, Avery turned to me. Cameron, I heard you brought a pitch deck, let me see. She flipped pages, her pretty brow knitting. These projected returns look high. My finance team pegs the upside 0.3 points lower. Here's the thing, Avery, I said, sliding the detail sheet over. We folded in celebrity seating, reality show placements, plus micro-influencer streams and live commerce drops. Historic data shows that lifts the band 0.5 to 0.8%. The 0.3 you see is already our conservative floor, fair, and it sounds executable. Draft a deeper plan within 3 days, Lucas has my email. Will do, Avery. Outside, Avery hugged Lucas. It's been years. Tell your folks I'll swing by soon. In the town car, Lucas actually smiled. Solid work, Cameron. I stared at my lap. I've drafted a few decks that performed, but I only own tiny slices, no credits, no names. Cameron, the work is there, you just need the confidence. Back when I answered to Zachary, every deck I built was trash that would nauseate a client, or something a grade schooler could outright. Leah would pat me on the head, cute slides, but you can't even read them aloud. Zachary would glare from the corner until I stammered, then Leah would volunteer to present, and halfway through, my work became her work, and suddenly they were a team lecturing me. I used to argue back, that only brought louder abuse. Eventually I stopped volunteering, stopped speaking, and figured I'd be fired by month end. Then Lucas told me I was good, great, even. I looked at him, gratitude flooding every inch of me. Morgan. That night in the SUV, Zane glanced back. Your old lease is terminated, your things are already moved. Quinn, Zane. All Lucas is doing. I'd lost count of my thank yous to him. Thank you, Lucas. I'll finish Avery's deck tonight and get your sign off, we'll win this. In the end, closing the deal would be the best thank you of all. Half a month of tweaks later, Avery said yes. She raised her eyes to me. Olivia, Lucas talked you up for weeks, now I see why. You're excellent. One change, extend the term. My stomach dipped. What section? Here, make it 3 years. She tapped the cooperation term, it had read 1. I enjoy working with you, quick on the uptake, sincere, humble. Let's go long. Her smile was disarming. The instant the contract was countersigned, fireworks detonated inside my ribcage. Handing the folder to Lucas, I felt grounded for the first time in ages. Lucas, Avery signed for 3 years. I didn't bother hiding the glow. Flipping the pages more gently than usual, he said, Zane will book tonight's restaurant, your victory dinner. On the ride over, Zane bubbled. This is the spot Zachary always picks for Leah's victory laps. I reserved the grand private room, first time it's for you. I'd once told Zane that team's celebratory banquets never included me, the group chat food porn was all I ever tasted. Tonight I'd dine on my own win, no borrowed spotlight required. The car pulled up under the porte-cochere of a 5-star hotel. Zachary's got decent taste, I said. I hear the chef's flown in from Europe and the ingredients arrive by private jet every morning. As we followed the maitre d' deeper into the lobby, Zane caught my elbow. Isn't that Zachary and Leah? No wonder the entertainment budget ballooned this month. The expense reports list 3 different 5-star hotels, all claimed as accommodations for Mr. Lewis. Looks like we found the leak. What was supposed to be a victory dinner had just turned into front-row seats for corporate gossip. Lucas stood quietly, content to let Zane and me trade theories. Zane's eyes flashed. I'll have someone run a full audit. If they're skimming, they picked the wrong company. He stepped aside, iPhone already at his ear. Come on, let's go in, Lucas said, tipping his head toward the dining room. Zane had pre-ordered the tasting menu and a bottle of Cabernet. Crystal chandeliers glittered above white linen tables, and the space felt too romantic for a business celebration. Lucas and I sat opposite each other like a couple on a first date. The sommelier poured. I can usually hold my liquor, but I still texted Summer my location, just in case I lost track of time and needed a ride home. The last thing I wanted was to embarrass myself in front of Lucas. Congratulations, he said, lifting his glass. Morgan, drop the formalities after hours. Call me Lucas, or even my Chinese name if you like. Admiration warmed his gaze. Olivia, you look far more confident than the first day we met. Thank you for trusting me. I've learned a lot from you and Zane. Olivia, women can, and do, excel. Look around, Summer, Avery, they're proof. You never need to apologize for your gender, and you don't take a back seat to anyone on pure talent. My stomach dropped. That was practically a cut and paste of a post I'd written months earlier, after 7 interviews where I lost out to less qualified men. At 2 a.m., I'd vented on WhatsApp. Asterisk, when will the world stop grading women on a harsher curve? Asterisk, I wanted to disappear. Didn't the CEO have better things to do than scroll through ancient social media rants? I fumbled my privacy settings to last 3 days. Lucas chuckled at my frantic tapping. Too late. I've read the whole archive. Could the man read minds? He drained his glass and set it down. Funny thing, Olivia, when I saw your resume in the hiring pile, my first reaction was relief. I thought, we've finally crossed paths again. Again? Freshman move-in day. I carried your trunk up to the dorm. A club assignment required us to take photos. Here. He opened our chat and set his phone between us. The wallpaper was a snapshot, a boy in white tee, jeans, and sneakers, a girl in sky blue sundress, high ponytail whipping in the wind. On a tree-lined avenue, both of us reached for the same suitcase, cheeks flushed, eyes bright. You kept thanking me on repeat, just like when we re-met. You called me Quinn Lucas the whole time. A faint flush crept up his neck. At the welcome rally I sat right beside you. I'd left my contacts at home that day and spent the ceremony squinting at the stage. He smiled at the memory. Intramural basketball, I only accepted the bottle you handed me. The class had lined the girls up to give water to the players. A stranger intercepted mine, muttered Quinn, and I was too stunned to snatch it back. I tried to find you later, but you were always sprinting between lectures and the library, nose in a book. I told myself, she's hopeless wood, and decided to wait until graduation. His ears were pink now. I couldn't tell whether from wine, bashfulness, or frustration. Summer's voice echoed in my head, asterisk keys into you, idiot asterisk. And the truth was, his steady praise, his calm decisiveness, the way he drew confidence out of me, they were all things I'd started craving. So, he said, voice soft, what do you think? I swallowed. Your own timeline is blank. Hardly fair. Olivia, you really are a block of wood. He stabbed a chunk of filet mignon in defeat. I looked down. I only meant. I want to know you, too. His head snapped up, eyes wide with surprise and hope. "Olivia, Quinn you," he whispered. It was one of the few times he'd ever said thank you to me. We left the hotel. Zane had vanished. Summer's car idled at the curb. The instant I stepped outside, she spotted me. "Olivia, the room's spinning," Lucas murmured, folding himself against my shoulder. Summer rolled her eyes. "You called me for this?" I didn't know he was a lightweight. Together we poured him into the back seat of his chauffeured Tesla. I climbed into Summer's car for the ride home. On the way I texted Zane. When we reached the company lofts, Zane was already waiting under the awning. I jumped out. "Zane, where'd you disappear to?" Lucas pinged me, told me to go enjoy laying expensive dinner on him. He lowered his voice. "Truth is, I never planned to stay." He and the driver helped Lucas inside while Summer dragged me to her car for interrogation. Next morning the office felt eerily quiet. For once Zachary wasn't hovering, and Leah's perfume didn't precede her. I cornered Zane. "Where are Zachary and Leah?" "Kickbacks, forged expense reports, company funds siphoned off. Last month's salary and bonus revoked, termination effective immediately." He delivered the news with clerical calm. Lucas strolled out of his corner office, every inch the impartial chairman. "In light of Olivia's outstanding execution on the Avery contract, she is hereby promoted to team lead of Team 1. Any objections?" I raised a finger. "The employee handbook forbids interoffice relationships." Translation: if I accept the job, everything you confessed last night becomes null. Lucas cleared his throat. "You must be misremembering." Zane leaned in, whispering, "The day your transfer cleared, he had HR delete that clause." Mission accomplished, he beat a hasty retreat. Lucas rounded the desk. "My father wrote that rule. I never endorsed it. This change is long overdue, and has nothing to do with you." His gaze pinned me in place. "My philosophy is simple: love and success aren't mutually exclusive. I want both." Thank you for listening to today's story. If you enjoyed it, double tap and share it with friends. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more. See you next time.